Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Munir Al-Azouzi from easymedicaldevice.com. And today we will help you understand more about the UDI code. So the UDI code is a new feature that should be available within your products regarding the new medical device regulation. So in the IVDR and MDR. And I have with me Sylvia Reingardt from GS1, who will help me to make you understand what is this thing. So what is UDI? So Sylvia, welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast.
Welcome, Monia. Thank you to get a chance to talk a little bit about UDI.
No problem. So thank you for that, and thank you for helping. And I think, GS1 is really the right actor here to help us really to have a better understanding of all this. So Sylvia, just to start at the beginning, so can you make an introduction of yourself so that we can have a better understanding of who you are and what you are doing, and then we can go to the next topics.
Sure, yes. I'm working as a sector manager at GS1 Germany. I joined the company in October 2011. And it's not a surprise, starting with that time, I'm working also on the UDI topic because due to the US FDA rule, prior that I worked also for an EDI provider in healthcare, working on data exchange topics. I also manage international project with medical device suppliers. And I'm very proud that also I was able to spend about 10 years in a purchasing department of a German university hospital. So I also know a little bit about the situation, how that works with UDI codes at the healthcare provider side.
So great. So I hope this experience will also help some of our people here to help us understand that. So a little bit, maybe some words about GS1. So GS1 is we'll talk more about that, but GS1 is a company. Is it a German company or it's located somewhere else?
No, GS1 is an international standardization organization. Meanwhile, we have more than 110 GS1 member organizations worldwide. I'm working for GS1 Germany, which is the second one. On place one, there you will find GS1 US. But in more than 110 countries, we have GS1 member organization. We're working on one global standard, which I talk about a little bit later, more in detail, how that fits to UDI.
Great.
So, and we're also working, we're a neutral organization, a not-for-profit organization, and our business model is based on, I want to mention that also, on license fee, which is quite transparent, and our major goals is to improve supply chain processes by using our standards to become, to make them much more secure, much more transparent and efficient.
No, it's great. So yeah, I didn't know that GS1 was for a non-profit organization. So it's great to know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So by the way, maybe it's the right time to talk a little bit about news, or not a disclaimer, a GS1 disclaimer. I want to mention that because we will talk about UDI regulatory requirement. So neither GS1 nor its member organization, for instance, GS1 Germany, nor the staff have real or apparent authority to speak for the regulatory authorities. That's quite important. What we offer is advisory service focused on our standards. But a supplier needs to go into its internal processes with the regulatory affairs department, came up to a decision and determine how they can go the correct path to compliance. That's quite important. Maybe these are not so good news. I thought there are some good news also because due to the fact that we are really a global organization with more than 2,700 employees worldwide, we provide also support to our users, to medical device suppliers on how to implement, for instance, UDI in their local language and understanding also the local requirements.
So great. So yeah, as I've said, so GS1 is really a well-known organization. I know that since many years. I mean, since I'm starting to work for medical devices, so it's really important to mention that. Okay, so great that now we have a better understanding of who you are and maybe what is GS1 exactly. I wanted to make the audience more understandable about UDI. So what is, before UDI, I think there was already some barcodes on some products. I think some came from GS1 also. What is now this UDI code? What is the thing that is changing with all this? How this is helping to have a UDI code on my product now?
Yeah, the code is one part of this UDI system described in the rules. So it's designed to enable the healthcare community and the public also an opportunity to identify a medical device using this unique device identification. And this UDI will appear on the label or on the device itself and on all higher levels of a device packaging. And maybe it's interesting to look to the background. So, for instance, US FDA, the European Commissions, or other regulators have also made patient safety a strategic priority by developing legislation like UDI. And what does it mean in real life? So, UDI, as mentioned, will appear in both plain text format and a format that can be read by, I use this acronym, AIDC, Automatic Identification Data Capturing, which is also part of the MDR technology. So, for instance, you have to use a barcode, and the UDI will provide a key also to obtain required device information in a UDI database. So, database topic, quite important thing, it's especially for Europe. EUDAMED will provide the information needed for the identification of a medical device.
So it is really something that will help to make some traceability of your products, because before with the barcode that we had, it was just a product code, if I can say, or product barcode, so we can track the product, maybe the country where it comes from or something like that. But we cannot track the lot number, we cannot track the date of manufacturing or date of expiration, etc. I mean, there is more information on this one, but. Right. You mentioned that US already had that, Europe will have that. Is there a difference if I have already, maybe with GS1, I have already a code, a UDI code with GS1 in the US? Should I add a new code on my product for Europe, or can I use the same code as the US one?
I would say you can use the same standard, which is great, because it's not only to allocate numbers to your products, you also have to produce a barcode label, so it's the same standard you can use. I would like to point out to some rules how to allocate numbers. So, for instance, if you're talking about different target markets, you need to have in mind if you have a different language on the package. You have to differentiate that too, so you need a different number, but you can use the same global standard. And in case you have a multi-market package, it's the same code.
Okay, so it's great. I think it's a great precision here, because we have here now some rules that we have to have a language for each of the country that we are selling the products in Europe. So if you plan to update your packaging or have multiple products code because of different languages, then you should have different UDI code. But if it's the same as the one you have actually with all the language inside, so as you said, I think there is no change at all, which is, I think, a good news for some of our audience and or our manufacturers, because I think too much codes that at the end we don't know exactly which one we have.
No, there's a clear strategy from GS1. Keep it simple, only one barcode on the package, please.
It's great.
So to make sure that also the healthcare providers can work with that, in case there would be several barcode information. So how should they know which they have to scan then?
Exactly, it's also, I think, important that, as we said, this barcode is for traceability, so it should be trackable from beginning to the end. So even the user should know how to read this code. The hospital, the distributor, the import, all the people have to have a link to this code, so they have to have an understanding. So if there is many different standards, I think it can make some confusion here. Just for maybe some people that maybe don't know at all what is UDI, I mean, not what it is, but how it is structured, can you explain to us how we can build a UDI code by itself? So is there some kind of standard? I mean, there is a standard maybe with GS1, there is maybe a standard with other companies. So what is your standard for building a UDI code?
So yes, first you should know that UDI shall contain two parts. One is the UDI device identifier, UDI-DI, and the second part is the UDI production identifier, PI. The UDI-DI is a unique number specific to a model of a device, and it's also, as I mentioned, the access key to information stored in the UDI database. So for those working with GS1 standards, they can then use the GS1 ident called Global Trade Item Number. We use the abbreviation GTIN. So the G10 is then equivalent to the UDI-DI. With the G10, you can comply to those requirements around UDI-DI. The UDI-PI production identifier is a numeric or alphanumeric code that identifies the unique unit of device production. So there are different types of UDI-PIs. So for instance, serial number, lot number, software identification, manufacturing and or expiry date. Those information, if you're working with GS1 standards, there's another concept behind called application identifier concept, which allows you to encode those information in a structured way within a GS1 barcode. And the combination of both is the UDI code.
Okay, the UDI PI, so it's mainly the manufacturer who creates that. It's not something that he comes to GS1 and asks them, give me a code for the UDI PI or this or that. It's only the UDI-DI that is coming from GS1, and the UDI PI, you are just defining what is the standard for you to create this UDI-DI.
Yeah, there are some specifications around. So for instance, the serial number can be 20-digit alphanumeric, but not more. So that's one part of our specification described there. So, but you're completely right. We only offer the access to the numbering system, the unique one. And in addition to that, we're offering all the required general specification, how to create a barcode, a specification around. But the information itself is produced by the supplier, by the manufacturer.
And I remember when I read some UDI code coming from GS1, because it's different with other companies, there is some of those, I mean, for you, it's like numbers under brackets, between brackets, 01 for the G10 or the UDI-DI, the number 10, the number 17, the number 20 something.
Perfect, Monia. You're already well informed.
Yeah,
These are the application identifiers, which will be encoded within the barcode. So it's therefore much easier to use those information in a structured way for further processes. So yes, these application identifiers are they are ISO-based and a part of a GS1 barcode.
Yeah, and when I looked at other entities, because there is other entities that are also providing the UDI code, they use different codes or different things to separate the different numbers, which makes me more confused, because I say, what's that? I mean, you need really kind of an index to know what means this code, so what means the number behind, which is a bit difficult. But you made it simple, I think, for me.
It's simple. I wouldn't say simple, but it's a approved system. We are already working on that topic since more than 40 years. And it's quite easy to work with those information, also mainly due to the fact that every GS1 barcode contains also a symbology indicator. And that's the starting point. So when you scan a GS1 barcode, you will get at first the information that's a GS1 code and not another one.
Okay.
And based on that, every scanner, every system using to scan those information is able to interpret in a proper way. So it's a global standard, not changing every year. It's a very stable standard, and every handheld scanner or other devices who scan those information then will recognize which kind of standard organization is behind, and then they can easily interpret the information. It's all ISO-based. Also, the other organization, also the other designated organization. In total, we have 4 for Europe working on ISO-based standards. The same principle behind. So there is an indicator which indicates which standards is used for the barcode, and then it's quite easy.
So talking about the other organizations that are issuing entity that are authorized also to provide the UDI-DI code. So there is GS1. Who are the other ones?
So we have then HIBC and ICC-BBA. Both are also designated for US. And then for Europe, we have a 4th one. That's the IFA GmbH. It's a German standard organization. Mainly, they are offering mainly their service in the pharmaceutical area, but they are also designated for UDI in Europe.
And I mean, GS1, HIB, CC, and the third one, I cannot pronounce his name anymore. You were mentioned, I mean, your name was already mentioned on the MDR when it was published. So it's more like you were designated already.
And also HIBC and ICCPBA.
Yeah, exactly, the three of them, yeah. But the European Commission can still add more entities if they want. As you've said, they add the IFA. Now they can add another one if they are interested. So it's more in terms of in the hand of the EU Commission.
Right. So you can apply for that, and then you have to run the designation process. You have to fulfill all requirements, and then sure.
So in the US, as we said, there is the UDI code, so you can provide that. In Europe, there is a bit of a change in terms of the regulation. There is the UDI code, so UDI-DI, and there is the basic UDI-DI.
Right, two different things, quite important. Yeah, very important. This new concept of a basic UDI-DI, it's quite, it's only currently required for Europe. So the basic UDI-DI aims at grouping regulated medical devices under the same identifier. It's an additional ident. So every medical device suppliers have to have in mind, it's not only a UDI-DI, a GTIN. He also has to work on the second identifier called basic UDI-DI. And also therefore, we offer a GS1 ident, another ident, and the name is Global Model Number, GMN. This is the equivalent GS1 ident to fulfill the requirements regarding the basic UDI-DI.
So this basic UDI-DI is not a code that will appear on the product.
Right, very important. No, shall not be used in any labeling, physical marking, or in the data carrier. But it's a very, very, how should I say, a strong ident, because it's connected to different things. So the basic UDI-DI, for instance, connects to the database, the UDI database, but also connects to the registration of devices. It connects to the summary of safety and clinical performance, to the certificate for free sale, for technical documentation, EU declaration of conformity, and offshore certificate issues by a notified body. So it's a really new concept. Every supplier has to be aware about that, and it will have immense impact on any UDI implementation project. That's what we are thinking. It's covered by our license package, because it's one of our, in total, we have 12 GS1 identifiers. So we just talked about the global trade item number, GTIN, and you can use that for the UDI-DI. And the second one you need for UDI in Europe is then the global model number, to fulfill the basic UDI-DI requirements.
So the basic UDI-DI is a number that can group many devices under it. So it's not like one basic UDI-DI for one product. It's one basic UDI-DI for a group of products. So can you help us just quickly maybe to understand how can I group a product under one basic UDI-DI? So is there a rule or something that...
Oh, yes. Yeah, everyone, if you start to work on that, it's the most important question in the beginning, how to set a path, because there is attribute set described by the EU Commission. So you can go and check which are the mandatory attributes for basic UDI-DI, which are the optional ones. And so, for instance, you can only group medical devices which are related to the same risk class. Yeah, that's one example. So that's a lot of things to have in mind. So my recommendation would be to check at first this attribute set to get a better understanding which kind of devices you are allowed to group together. And then you need a little bit a kind of balance. How big should be your group? How small? Because as we already talked about, it's also part of a technical documentation. Okay, fine, a technical documentation can have more than one basic UDI-DI, but one basic UDI-DI, for instance, can only appear on one technical document.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of impact around. So that's what we are recommending. Once you start, first, sure, you should identify which is the right UDI issuing entity for you. But in the next step regarding basic UDI-DI, you have to do a little homework to see and understand better the concept behind, and then to come to the conclusion how you group the items.
And I think it's a really important point here, because within your answer, I can understand, and I know that it's the fact that there is no one answer for creating a group for a basic UDI-DI. Right. So it's your strategy, but you have to respect some rules, but it's your strategy. You can have different, I mean, if you ask two companies with the same products to do a group of basic UDI-DI, they will maybe come with 2 or 3 different strategies. So you have really to think about that and to just respect the minimum requirements.
And maybe we should share with the people the new guideline from MedTech Europe about basic UDI-DI allocation, which is a great document. And there you can see which are the impacts and what you have to do. And then you have maybe to change also basic UDI-DI and which impact that will have. So it's a great document.
No, I think it's great. I will put that on the show notes, and you are right. This document is really great. So thank you for MedTech Europe. There is a decision tree inside. There is a lot of things.
Right.
Some examples also. They are giving you examples because I think there is a lot of misunderstanding about this code. But now with that, I think it will be great. So thank you for this reminder. Okay, so. Now we have made a bit of the theory, if I can say, explaining a bit what is the UDI, the structure, the standard, etc. Can you tell us, within your experience with your customers or with the people or with the facilities or people that you met regarding the UDI, what are some issues that are happening when you have a UDI code? Do you have some kind of, maybe some complaints from some people calling you saying, oh, it's not working this or it's not working that, or there is an issue on this or on that? Do you have some stories like that, some examples?
Not only some. So I think I have already a lot of samples. And it's also a little bit about data quality processes in place. So that's what maybe we can see, not in every company, a really integrated quality management regarding the barcoding. So what could happen? It could be that the barcode labeling software didn't get the right instructions. So there might be a difference. So we didn't talk about our data carriers. So the most, there is one linear one. Everyone, maybe the most of the people know this kind. It's a linear one called GS1 128. So there you can encode not only one information, you encode, for instance, GTIN, lot number, and expiry date. And if you have small products, not so much space on a maybe single unit or a multiple unit package, you can use then also a 2D code, a GS1 data matrix.
Yeah.
But it starts already. That's maybe a pitfall, because if you're working with a barcode labeling software, there is also a code called code 128. But it's not a GS1 128. And the missing part is then this already mentioned indicator for the symbology. So you have to select first the right symbology to make sure that you can work with the application identifier concept properly.
And
so some of those codes,
and that GS1 can help for that.
Right. So what we are offering is services to check barcode information, and we have in our company a verifier, so we can check labels and prove it against the specs, the specification. Then you will get a check protocol and a check report, so that it's a one-time thing, which we recommend if you are in the UDI project, if you starting to implement that. And if you're then in production, we always recommend also to integrate verifier, at least maybe a mobile one, and then you pick per production charge 1 or 2 products and check the labels. So this verifiers are really checking then if the barcode symbology fits to the specification.
Okay.
So they're looking for the size of dimension and other topics.
That's great, because if it's smaller, maybe you cannot read it anymore. If it's
the size is important, but also other things, quality criteria can may cause then issues by scanning.
Yeah, because I mean the scanner. If the I don't know if there is some specification in terms of some labels that should be not too shiny, or I don't know if there is those kind of things, or maybe the ink should be this color or not this color. I don't know at all that, but I think there is some kind of those specification that the manufacturer.
Yeah, that's our GS1 standard basic document, the foundational one. It's called General GS1 Specification, and there you will find all those required information about the identification keys, the data attributes, but also barcode symbologies. So the detailed descriptions are available there regarding the data carrier. So for instance, there is a symbol specification table where you can see all the numbers and the minimum size, maximum size, and also other information in order to achieve excellent scan rates, because that's the major goal, to make it happen, that it really is a code which a nurse or someone in a hospital can scan easily and maybe document then the use of some products per patient record. No?
I think it's important, as we said at the end. The person that is really using that at the end at the hospital should be able to read it. So yeah, you have to make some kind of test to verify that when it arrives correctly and it's legible and everything on that.
Maybe in German we have the Teufel liegt im Detail. I don't know if there's an English wording, because it looks sometimes okay, but in case a medical device supplier changed they decided to buy a different pack material, it could happen that the ink will not longer be in a properly way available. Maybe due to this new material, it's going into this material, and then you don't make the spec regarding this clarity of the barcode, and things like that can happen.
Yeah, and imagine if they have that on stock for 6 months and they deliver that after, so it can be also
right.
So actually, we are still in a period where we are talking a lot about coronavirus. So this is something that is touching. I mean, it's a pandemic, so it's worldwide. Is GS1 helping? I mean, is the GS1 code helping in terms of coronavirus situation? Is there something that you are doing for that?
What we can see now, due to COVID-19, a lot of things came up to the surface. So it's not in the past really run in a perfect way. So this lack of visibility in global supply chains, the lack of visibility regarding stock, for instance, for personal protective equipment, that's now quite clear due to COVID-19. These use cases, these kind of processes were core regarding a core in terms of the GS1 is working on them since years to make it happen, that using identify, capture, share technologies to improve these supply chain processes to make them much more secure, much more transparent and efficient. So we are thinking, due to COVID-19, people will come back to this situation and think about, is there any global standard where we have a high level of interoperability? It's a not easy word for me, I just recognize this always. And therefore, I think it's not nice to say, but it's a kind of accelerator using global standards for supply chain purposes.
So we can see with that apparently the UDI code or the barcode used is also helping in terms of logistics. Right. So it's not just a regulatory tool. It's not something that just required by the regulation, but it's also something that people can use to manage their stock, manage logistics, manage all those things, which is also a good news.
Really, sorry for maybe adding that. So that's what I can recommend to every medical device supplier starting working on UDI, so that we tell them, talk to your colleagues from the supply chain department. The codes are the same, the numbering systems are the same. Maybe you are able to synchronize your efforts a little bit. So it's not a silo, it's not only a regulatory requirement. So you can fulfill regulatory requirements, but in addition to that, you can improve your internal logistic processes, but also you can work to improve the overall global supply chain. efforts. So that's the story behind.
Yeah, I think it's a good point here. In terms of GS1, so as we said, so you are a non-profit organization, but when I'm coming to your website, there is really a lot of information. There is a lot of things that to help people to understand the different code sizes, how much number I should use, how much, I mean, I'm not a technical person, but when I'm going and reading that, I say, okay, I need maybe to have a specific person that is really knowledgeable on all this to help. But
you need a kind of guide through that numbers of documents, I think. Someone guiding you to help you a little bit to understand. That's the way you have to move forward. You are right. That's maybe a weakness, but otherwise, due to the fact that we are a standardization organization, we are producing a lot of documents, specification. But if you're completely new in that topic, it's overwhelming, and you need a kind of guidance. Which are the top 5 steps to come to in the situation that you can say, I'm on the right track to become UDI compliant. I'm with you. That's the reason why we're working on a lot of additional services. We're offering trainings. As I mentioned, we're offering those trainings in the local language.
Okay.
So I'm working for GS1 Germany. Our trainings, we have webinars, we have on-site trainings, but we're also offering in-house trainings. They are in German, but if there is a request to do that in English, we can also offer that.
Great.
Then we also have on our website a UDI landing page, I would like to say, where we put together all UDI relevant information on one place, which may be helpful. We also produced a tutorial for the basic UDI-DI, a short movie to explain a little bit how to mention that with the numberings, the license, how the GMN, the global model number, is structured. So we also working on concrete customer base by consulting customers if they are interested. We have 2 consultants. They go to the company, they made a setup, a specific one. That's what we are offering too. And then we also have, as GS1, always the approach to offer a kind of networking platform. That's the reason why we have in Germany also an event, UDI event in December in our office in Cologne, where we have external speakers, where we also invite GS1 solution partners, those companies offering, for instance, barcode labeling software or scanners or data solutions for the data exchange, EUDAMED stuff, to bring all those people together to make it happen that they use their own network then to work on UDI, because UDI is not a competitive advantage. Everyone has to fulfill the requirements. So that's our approach. For those looking for English-speaking information, we have our corporate site, gs1.org. Also on one place, if you're looking there, medical device UDI, you find also a lot of information in English.
No, I think it's great. So, yeah, I think you should send me a lot of those links. I will put that on the show notes.
I already prepared a little bit.
Great, thank you for that. So please, everybody, go on the show notes and pick all those links and put that on your bookmarks. So if you need them, you'll have that for helping you understanding, having a better understanding on the UDI code. Great. So, Sylvia, I think we really covered everything. We had talked about the theory, the practice, even coronavirus, and what you are providing. So, do you have a last thought or last advice for people that will go through this UDI pathway or regulatory that they have to comply with the EU MDR or EU IVDR?
The only thing, don't wait too long. Start now.
No, I think it's really great.
It's a little bit knowledge transfer required. You need to set up responsibilities, who is responsible for the UDI project. It's the knowledge required regarding GS1 standards and how to move forward. I think it's not a big affair, so you can go through that. But if you are under time pressure, that's not so easy. So
yeah,
start now.
I think if you have a big portfolio, start now. If you have a small portfolio, maybe, okay, you have maybe a bit of time, but if you have a big portfolio, start now. So where can people maybe contact you or discuss with you if they have some more questions?
So maybe you will share my contact details. If not, if they go to our UDI landing page, we have several contact details there. A dedicated UDI support line also, because Germany, we have a lot of medical device suppliers in our market, so we are expecting that some of them are not yet started. So we have a UDI support process behind. We have then we guarantee that everyone who contact us will get as soon as possible a feedback and a hopefully valuable answer on how to move forward.
Good. So I will put those details on the show notes. So people, if you want to contact GS1, so Sylvia will provide the link so that you can have directly somebody to help you with your project. Okay. So thank you for that. So for all the people that are listening to this episode, if you are on YouTube, please don't forget to just provide a comment or a like on the channel and subscribe. And if you are listening to that on your car, maybe, or doing your workouts, so don't hesitate to go to the provider where you are listening to it and provide just a review. Just say that you liked this episode or you liked the episode with Sylvia, so that she will know that. Okay, so thank you for that. So Sylvia, I really thank you for your support. Thank you for all the information, and I wish you a nice day.
Thank you, Monia. Thank you for this great podcast.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.